This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. Let's do this thing. Level 2 has begun. The Utes are getting 1 point right now against USC. So I'm going to take the Utah Utes plus the 1. And the total is all the way up to 150. Wow. So the people agree with what I said as far as points in this game. Like I said, USC just gave up 99 to Stanford the other night. They gave up 83 or 87 the game before. So we're going to go over 150. We just took Utah plus 1. Second period has just started in Vancouver. 2-0 for the Canucks over the Detroit Red Wings. Let's do a quick check with the Warriors and the NBA and everything right now. The Grizzlies are about to beat the Bucks. They're up by 6 with 30 seconds left. Oh, Milwaukee just scored 3, though. 113-110. The Warriors are up 125-113 with 9 minutes left in the game. And the T-Wolves are blasting the Blazers right now 61-43, laying 17.5 with 3 minutes left in the second quarter of play. So Brent was just talking about loving Jaden Daniels. What's your take as a Heisman Trophy voter, as somebody that watches more than the SEC? What's your take on Drake May? All right, we'll get Brent back. He's frozen in time right now, but I want to get his take on Drake May. He's a Heisman Trophy voter, Cam, so he's watching more than just the SEC. And where will Jaden Daniels go? Will it be 2? I think he could be. Like I said, I'm not sold that Drake May will be the second pick to the Washington Commanders. Dan Quinn is the coach there now. Yet you've got Cliff Kingsbury there. Which way do they go? To me, if I'm going to roll the dice on one of the two of them, I'd roll the dice on Daniels. I think there's more upside there than with Drake May. But Drake May's the old school prototypical quarterback that they like. Oh, he can throw this and he can do that and stuff. But I don't know. Like I said, like in the modern NFL, you need to be able to scramble, and Jaden Daniels has that.
You got it, Morency. Gone are the days of the big 6-foot towers that are lumbering. Like, the players are too quick now. I don't care what. You have to have some escapability. And that's the thing about J.J. McCarthy that people forget. When they're talking about this guy, they think the guy's a good athlete. Like, he can move. Like, out of the quarterback's mobility, May's not even in Daniels' league. And that's very, very important. I told you yesterday, and I wasn't trying to make a crazy statement, I like Daniels more than Caleb Williams. That's my opinion, and I know he's not going to go first, but I think Daniels' upside is through the roof. And when we talk about trajectories of player, I think he just can keep on getting better and better and learn, and he already looks damn good playing in college. I think he's going to be a great pro, Gabe.
One thing we'll say, it's not a hot take to say, though, that Daniels will be the second pick, because all you need to know is look at the odds. Drake May's minus 150 to be the second pick of the draft. Jaden Daniels is plus 160. So that's not like a ton of value or anything like that. Like it's kind of known as well. It's kind of a toss-up. And I bet you the Daniels number will come down. So if you do like this, then pull the trigger. We should note the draft isn't until April 26th, I believe. April 25th, April 26th. It's too bad. We were at the draft in Vegas a couple of years ago. We didn't go to KC. This year, it'd be cool. It's in Detroit. I saw the Detroit welcoming committee at the Super Bowl. And I was like, oh, yeah, you guys are going to be rocking there. Like I said, Detroit's got it all. And baseball season will be going. So you got the baseball stadium. You got the casinos. You got sports betting. Like, Detroit's going to be rocking, and now the Lions are good. It's going to be a festive feeling in Detroit for that draft.
I can tell you one thing, Gabe. I bet they treated you better than the Washington Commanders friend zone there. Can we get a hat and a scarf? No. I'm like, ooh, yeah, save your Commanders gear. They were like watching it like it was Fort Knox. I'm like, come on,
the
guys.
Commanders are poor. They're cheap. Like, they don't.
They're really
Snyder
tight.
was like, they had no money. They don't even have plumbing in their stadium, right? They couldn't afford to give me a mask. No, it's during COVID. I asked for a Commander mask. He said, no, can't spare
They couldn't give you a Commander COVID mask. Too much money. Unbelievable. Yeah, those guys were too much.
It looks like great. Vancouver's going on the power play again.
4-minute penalty.
As far as J.J. McCarthy is concerned, I don't know, dude. I don't know why people don't like him, because the funny thing is he's not an annoying person. So I don't really get, like, the hate for him, but, like, people are really, like, just, like, hostile online about him, because there was a story today, and everything that I said months ago comes true about this kid. I said, like, in the middle of the season, earlier in the year, I said, this guy is Joe Burrow. I said, he's basically, there's a reason why he wears number 9, too, even. Like, you know what I mean? He's very Joe Burrow-ish. Yet people, I see like he's not accurate. Not accurate. The guy completed like 72% of his passes. You get into his numbers, guys, like, and you want to talk about just winning everywhere that he's been. But there was a story tonight, now like the NFL draft coming up, the crazy reports are out and all this crazy stupid stuff, that basically McCarthy has moved up, that he could be like the second or third quarterback taken, which I've maintained all along, Cam. Like, honestly, like, I don't even think it's a debate. Like, would you rather, if you're drafting an NFL team, do you want a 25-year-old Michael Penix who's had 6 surgeries, played college football for 6 years, or J.J. McCarthy's 21 years old? Like, you know what I mean? Or Bo Nix. Like, J.J. McCarthy is going ahead of Penix. He's going ahead of Bo Nix. The Drake May stuff, I don't know, right? Like, everyone's torn on Drake May, but to me, I understand the Caleb Williams love. Why teams like him so much. I understand Jaden Daniels, the modern NFL quarterback. I get it. But if you're looking for a guy that can win football games for you and it can lead for you and it just has that it factor, then J.J. McCarthy's your guy. But I'll tell you what, Kemp, J.J., he's going to be in a good spot, bro. And I'll ask you, if you were J.J. McCarthy, you don't want to end up like on some like crappy, situation, right? You want to end up in a good spot. And to me, Denver's that spot for him.
He almost feels like a Bronco. Like draft. Just looking at him.
I think he's a Viking. I think he's a Viking. That's my vision. I've had a vision. He's going to be a Viking. But the Vikings pick 11th. The Broncos pick 12th. I think he's going to go right there. But the thing is, people are talking about, no, man, he might go 6 to the Giants or something. And I pray for the kid that he doesn't, bro, because that's just a death trap.
I'm going to tell you something else, Morency. I'm not here to make like different takes and be opposite, but I really feel the way I do. I think McCarthy's going to have a better career than May. If I'm in the GM room, I think he's a better football player. I think he's a better athlete. I think he's better in big games. The thing about May is he's just one of those old school guys that looks the part. But McCarthy's Gabe, you watch Michigan ball. Like, he can run for that first down, extend a play. And I don't know if people are talking about his accuracy. I like McCarthy. And I don't know what these people, they obviously don't watch football.
McCarthy is 27-1. He was 27-1 with the Michigan Wolverines. And people say, I see some people, well, yeah, their defense, and they ran the ball well. Okay. So I guess it was Michigan's defense that because he won an Illinois State high school championship at a school that never won type of deal. He won the Illinois school. Oh, yeah, and then by the way, he went to IMG and won 8-0. Like, all the kid does is win on every team. I'm sort of starting to figure out where these Canadian guys play well, bro. Not Hawaii, not California. Give me a Canadian in Ohio, Ken. Give me a Canadian in Michigan. Give me a Canadian at the Waste Management.
Good old Charlie Hoffman, the representative of Waste Management, played the best tournament of his life in 8 years and lost in the playoff to the Canadian. It turned out to be like a wicked tournament. Shout out to Nick Taylor, Gabe, BC's finest.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
It is a big I told you so if Mac Jones comes back and Mayo keeps him and the Patriots don't draft a quarterback at number 3. But the fan base is a big problem. I mean, you bring back
fan base will be fine if they win.
There's the if. If they win, fan base won't care if you're quarterback in the Patriots if they win.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Caravan came back. They did have a couple of transfers here. The reality is UConn is every bit as talented and dangerous as they were 1 year ago.
If there's a guy, Joe Ranieri, that for one game can take a bunch of cast-offs and steal a game, his name's Eric Spoelstra.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another reason why they wanted the deadline is the number is 7. Those are the tradable first-round picks the New York Knicks have. And that could be something to look out for in the future. Does New York back it up and throw a ton of picks to a team like Dallas, maybe in the future, to get Luka Doncic?
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we'll get back to the NFL draft talk with Rick Saratella on level 3. He's going to join me. A lot of stuff to get to. He's still raging about Kyle Shanahan blowing the Super Bowl. He's got some thoughts. He's blaming this solely on Kyle Shanahan, and I have a hard time disagreeing with that. And and the more that the game sort of goes on, and it's been days now, I just keep going back to it. That, like, dude, you cost them. Like, it's you. You're the problem. The players did everything they can possibly do, and you just find a way all the time. You get in your own way. You did it like 28-3 in the Super Bowl when you're the offensive coordinator with your play calling in the second half. Third quarter of this Super Bowl, 9 plays ran in the third quarter. 8 of them were pass plays. That was Steve Wilkes' fault, right? That was Steve Wilkes' fault. There's a video tonight that just came out because everything's mic'd at the Super Bowl. There's a video coming out tonight about Mahomes and Kelsey on the sideline when San Francisco decided to take the ball. Mahomes was like, I can't believe they did that. And they were smiling. They were like, good, baby. They were like, and all the chief players, they were like, can you believe that? They were like, and Kelsey yelled out, that's what we wanted him to do, baby. Let's go. That's what we wanted him to do. And I'm thinking, you guys are playing the greatest team here, and you're doing what they want. Like, you're supposed to make them uncomfortable. But anyway, I'm going to ramble on forever here.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Kiev O'Neill here right now from the Odds Breakers and more. What's going on, Kiev? How you doing, my man?
Oh, God, man. I raged about that Super Bowl today quite passionately on the show. So, I mean, as soon as it happened, I'm at my place, I'll scream at him, what are you doing? It is like college now. You get the ball either way. You have to have the 4-down option. And he just handed the 4-down option to the best quarterback in the land
an extra
possibly
play
of all time.
It's so stupid.
And it's not just that one play. You change the way the play calls go, right?
Yes.
If you get the ball first and it's like 4th and 3, you're like, we got to punt the ball. Like, you got second, you're like, all right, guys, on 3rd down, 2nd down, we know we're in 4-down territory. Changes, it's like giving someone a last at bat willingly. Right? You guys just take it. Like, it's just.
Oh, and kicking the field goal is worse. Kicking the field goal is like, at least if you go for it, miss. They're on
right.
3-down territory.
You're right. Yeah.
They're 3-down territory, and they would have punted on that 4th down, and they're stuck at the 4. That means your next field goal wins. So, I mean, Jesus, there's 2 massive mistakes by Kyle Shanahan. And
they moved all down the field. Then he got all weird with the play call. Like I said, I thought he cost the game. Like he did with the decisions. He didn't call timeouts at the half. And the fact that the players didn't know the rules, it rattled them. And there's another thing. It was real. Like the same video that I retweeted, Mahomes, it was the one sideline, and they went to San Francisco sideline, and San Francisco players were actually saying, do we win if we score? And Juszczyk said, no, why we don't. And then they were kind of like, then why do we take the ball? Like the Niner players were kind of like, all right. And then they went on the field.
Wow.
Meanwhile, you find out after Cam that Andy Reid had a team meeting every night where he went on over different scenarios.
Yep.
If this happens, this is what we're going to do. And Kiev, they even had it. Mahomes even said after, we were even going to go for 2 if we had to win the game. We already planned it out. We had the play called and everything. Like,
it's the same thought process with college too. Like, remember Deion Sanders in a normal game took the ball and got just destroyed by the media for doing it first in an over situation. Now this is the Super Bowl and he does this. It blows my mind.
You know what Shanahan's problem is, Gabe? He's one of those guys like the Dolphins coach. He has to be the smartest guy in the room.
You're exactly right. He thinks he's a genius, bro. Your dad's the genius. You're not the genius.
Don't you watch his facial expressions like I'm smarter than you? No, you idiot. When you were at the Falcons, you blew that game too. Every big game you blow because you get out of your flow and you
then they throw Steve Wilkes under the bus.
Yeah. You held Kansas City to under 20 regular. Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. Like, honest to God, I'm done with Shanahan. That nice guy too. Like you said it. If he just got out of his way, see what Andy Reid does? Spagnuolo. He surrounds himself with good people. No egos. Let's roll. Let's make adjustments. Shanahan, on the other hand, you said it, Morency. Yeah, he gets in his own way. You're right.
The guy, listen, let's just call it out for what it was. He was drunk at the media night, and that should have been a big-ass red flag. Mm-hmm. I tried to overlook it. You know what I mean, Kiev? It's true, Kiev. Like, you know what I mean? I tried to overlook it, and I was like, because people are like, he's drunk. And I was like, okay, listen, it's Monday night. It's media night. It's a circus night anyways. But if you think about it from an overall preparation, it's the biggest game of your life. Like, put it this way. I didn't drink the night before I was going on the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be sharp. And here's Shanahan and then a coach in the Super Bowl, Kiev, and he's getting drunk.
You're going on a show. He's going to the Super Bowl.
It's like Shanahan, like, could you, you know what I mean?
I'm proud of you, Gabe. That shows commitment.
He was
drunk.
Right. Like, did you see he was? He was. Yeah. Like, he was on Monday night.
I know alcohol, Gabe. Yes, I can pick you up. Yes, he wasn't there. You're right. Agreed.
It's one thing you gotta wait to get drunk at the parade, Kiev. Right? You don't do it at the press conference to start the week.
You're prepping for the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think I'm gonna tie one on. I gotta loosen up.
It's a bad example for you. It's a bad example. You just don't do it, man. And it shows immaturity. And you can't plan for overtime properly. What is wrong? Go back to being offensive coordinator, Shannon. I'll take you at that. That's it.
Agreed.
My deal is let his dad, Mike, should come in and coach the second halves of these games.
Yeah.
Okay, so
tag him in.
He does the first half.
Yeah. That's the best.
Well, his father won by just handing it off to Terrell Davis 52 times in a row. His dad probably his dad would just give it to McCaffrey over and over.
Yeah.
And Mitchell too. Mitchell popped a few, and I was like, good, give it to Mitchell. Especially in Super Bowls, guys. You know what I mean, Kiev? In Super Bowls, there's always some guy that knows talking about. You got fresh legs. Give it to Mitchell a couple of times. He'll pop a 9-yarder in this, and you keep McCaffrey. You mix it up. They kept throwing the ball. Like, why?
Third quarter, it's like, why'd you go away from the run? This is the Chiefs' weakness. This is literally your way of winning this game and controlling the clock. You screwed up with the punt, but man, run the ball. And then, yes, put Mitchell in. He's fine. He's a good running back. As a matter of fact, he was a steal from the draft. And you sit there and McCaffrey's a little tired. You overuse him, and then you think you have to throw the ball and get cute against those secondary. It was just a terrible game plan. And Shanahan needs some guidance. He needs someone there making some of these decisions. We say that a lot of sports bettors.
Dude, they're favored to win the Super Bowl next year. People are crazy. They're turning into the Leafs camp, where the Leafs are favored every year.
Leave the Leafs out of this.
No, it's true. Every year the Oilers and Leafs, it's like, they're favorites again. It's like they never win. Like the Niners haven't won since 1994. Like people talk about the Niners like they win all the time. They've won once since 1994. Hell, the Canadians won a cup in 1993.
Yeah, has a long time.
Right.
The Cowboys won in 94. And people rip the Cowboys all the time, but the Niners are like immune to it somehow. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they choke all the time. They had the double-digit lead in the last Super Bowl 2 times now here with Shanahan. Low start here, low scoring start, which I'm not a fan of. 13-6 USC right now over to Utah Utes. St. Mary's is up 6-3 early on Pepperdine. Low scoring start here too. They played 4 minutes. Any opinion on these late night games tonight, Kiev?
No, I already hit mine. UCLA. It was 1.5. I bought it to 2, and I only buy it at 2 and 3 when it comes to college basketball. It was a somewhat no sweat win. Colorado did come back a little bit. Got to the free throw line a little bit at the end, but I hit that in the East Carolina under. That thing kept going up and up and up. It hit 139. I'm like, wait, didn't these two teams play? Look, they didn't even score 110 points. It was like 106. I was like, hey, how are they hitting the over in this one? So nice 2-0 for me tonight in college basketball. College basketball, one of my specialties. But we have a massive slate this weekend, so I'm excited for it.
And we got a big UFC card, UFC 298. Coming up on Saturday night from Anaheim, right? The OC.
Yeah.
So they're going to the OC, which is always a wild night there, and that parking lot and that arena and stuff like that. It's a fun place. It's kind of like the old school. Like that's like Ed Hardy, fake breasts.
Anaheim.
Yeah.
Tough guys, fights. It's one of those. Like,
I'm kidding.
I'm sort of starting to figure out where these Canadian guys play well, bro. Not Hawaii, not California. Give me a Canadian in Ohio, Ken. Give me a Canadian in Michigan. Give me a Canadian at the Waste Management.
Good old Charlie Hoffman, the representative of Waste Management, played the best tournament of his life in the 8 years and lost in the playoff to the Canadian. It turned out to be like a wicked tournament. Shout out to Nick Taylor, Gabe, BC's finest.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
It is a big I told you so if Mac Jones comes back and Mayo keeps him and the Patriots don't draft a quarterback at number 3. But the fan base is a big problem. I mean, you bring back
fan base will be fine if they win.
There's the if. If they win, fan base won't care if you're quarterback in the Patriots if they win.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Caravan came back. They did have a couple of transfers here. The reality is UConn is every bit as talented and dangerous as they were 1 year ago.
If there's a guy, Joe Ranieri, that for one game can take a bunch of cast-offs and steal a game, his name's Eric Spoelstra.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Another reason why they wanted the deadline is the number is 7. Those are the tradable first-round picks the New York Knicks have. And that could be something to look out for in the future. Does New York back it up and throw a ton of picks to a team like Dallas? Maybe in the future, they get Luka Doncic.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I want to get to UFC 298, but Kiev O'Neill is with us from the Odds Breakers, and he's got more college basketball thoughts. Big card coming up this Saturday. Now that the NFL season is wound down, I'm still involved with the NFL draft and the combine and all that. So there'll be a lot of NFL talk on a nightly basis. The offseason in the NFL doesn't start until after the draft is done. And then you even have the rookie mini camps and all that. But after the draft is done. But conference tournaments are coming up. I've been talking about it a lot, Kiev, in which, the men's game, it doesn't have the same flash that it used to. Like if you look at the NBA mock drafts, all the top players are either coming from Europe or they're coming from the G League. They're just going right to the G League right now. But it doesn't mean that the NCAA tournament won't be fun and the conference tournaments won't be fun. So college basketball steps up. What are you looking at on Friday night's card?
It's funny. Friday night's card's interesting. There's a couple headliners. Well, I mean, if you call Villanova a Georgetown a headliner, I mean, this is the funny thing. Kyle Neptune is such a fade coach with Nova, and he's going to be laying double digits, most likely on the road at Georgetown. If you have any belief whatsoever in Cooley from his years at Providence and what he's done, this would be the last time to back this team. Nova, not as good as the ranking. I think they're one of those fade teams kind of here coming up. Neptune is going to be toast, in my opinion. I don't think he's followed Jay Wright's shoes well at all. And, they're just very averagey, and I just don't like them. I'm not saying I'm ready to throw the money down on Georgetown, but I'm going to look at this spread. I mean, if it's in the double digits, I'll be tempted to take one shot at Georgetown here. I mean, they got to win a game here coming up, and Nova is just not good on the road. So I believe that Georgetown might be their last chance to actually show up and do something. But the real team I'm looking at is a surpriser to you from the Metro Atlantic Conference. It's Niagara. And this might be the biggest secret in college basketball, but Niagara hasn't lost a road game yet in their conference. They haven't lost an away game at all since Thursday, December 22nd. They went to Manhattan, their first game, won. To Iona, that's ranked 174th, much higher than them at 261 on KenPom. They won. They beat Ryder. They beat Mount St. Mary's on the road. They're not so great at home, but the last time I backed them against St. Peter's, they took St. Peter's to overtime and ended up winning on the road by 9 points. How am I not going to back this team as a 6, 7 to 9 point dog against Fairfield? I think the trend continues. Take Niagara on the road. They haven't failed me yet.
I like where you're going with that. In Niagara, 14-8 on the season. Both teams have been playing to the over this year. When you look at Fairfield, 16-7 to the over. Niagara, 15-7 to the over. Getting the 6.5 points is attractive. Good call as far as covering on the road is concerned. So what about Saturday's card? Saturday's always the big time. You got full slates of top 25 action. Texas Tech, Iowa State, Texas A&M and Alabama, Wake Forest and an erratic Virginia team, Creighton and Butler, Texas and Houston. That was fun when they played a couple of weeks ago. Went to overtime. Texas and Houston, Va Tech, North Carolina, Duke, FSU, BYU, Oklahoma State, Marquette and UConn. No line yet posted for Saturday's game between fourth-ranked Marquette and the number one ranked UConn Huskies. What's your take on Saturday's card?
Oh, it's an amazing card, baby. It's all about college basketball now. No more distractions with football, my friends. Baseball season's around the corner as well, so we'll be talking about that later.
Kentucky, Auburn, too. Auburn's smoking hot right now. It's Kentucky, Auburn.
I think Kentucky, Auburn at home has just been unstoppable, and Kentucky overs has really been unstoppable. But Auburn's defense really picks it up at home. But I think Auburn team total over might be a look here. This is going to be a total probably in 163, 164. Auburn's probably going to be laying, 10 points against Kentucky, something like that. Their team total is probably going to be around 89 or something like that. That's what I'm thinking, 88, 89 points or something like that. I think they touched 100 against a much better defense in South Carolina last time. Why won't Auburn touch the over here when all Kentucky does is run the court? I'll be looking for Auburn's team total over. I'm not sure if I trust Kentucky to score on the road at Auburn as much. but I would lean to the over from a game. So that's going to be a wonderful game, Gabe. I'm excited for that high-flying SEC matchup right there. But Texas versus Houston, you mentioned it already. This game already went to overtime earlier this year. Now, Houston is one of my sell-high teams. You know, they're ranked very high in Ken Palm. I'm not saying that they don't have the best defense. I believe they do. But if they get cold a little bit, which they do, ranking 144th in field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage, Texas can hit some shots. And if they're hitting the shots, the Cougars are going to have a tough time once again coming back. They were able to come back against Texas, but this is a big game for Texas. Texas is working for not only to improve their seed, they want to prove to the state of Texas that they're still that team. So you got a little road revenge going on here with the Longhorns here. And the Longhorns have one advantage over Houston. They're 10th in adjusted scoring by the rim, 10th in the nation, while Houston ranks 99th in defending by the rim, near proximity shots. Texas could possibly capitalize there. You're looking at a big spread, probably 8 points. I don't love taking points on the road, but I think this one's close again. I would take Texas 8 or better.
Love these state rivalry games. These two teams didn't play forever either. Now that they can't dodge each other. It's great stuff. So Arizona State, actually it's the last time though, right? Now with Texas going to the SEC. Arizona State and Arizona. You're in Arizona, so I asked you about this game. What are your thoughts on this? So what are your thoughts on the Wildcats in the big picture? Are they national championship contenders, or are they sort of, Elite Eight type of team?
They're a Sweet 16 Elite Eight team. They're a little bit more fraudulent, in my opinion. They just too many hot and cold, inconsistent games. Away from home is their problem. They lost a neutral court already against Florida Atlantic. They lost the semi-away game close to town. I think that might have been Vegas against Purdue. I mean, that's an okay loss. But when you go to Stanford and lose, hell, when you go to Oregon State and you lose, that's inconsistent to me, man.
They were like 19-point favorites in that game.
You can't be considered a championship team.
It's always been like that, Dan. Like these guys, they have the talent, Gabe. It's like you can't go up to like Pullman or Corvallis and beat these teams. Like Arizona's like, you see the pedigree and the guys they put in the NBA. It's shocking to me when they take their show on the road how different of a team they are. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Well, here, this spread's going to be monstrous. It's going to be 18 to 20 points here. You got to take ASU in this rivalry. If you look last year, ASU lost the first game at home by 9, but they went to Tucson last year and won it up in this matchup.
I remember that.
I know. It was like to the end of the season. It was an amazing story once it happened. But here it is. This is an ASU type game. They know how to play against this team. ASU played tough their last 2 games, Gabe. They beat Utah at Utah in a very tough environment. They blew out Oregon State. This is kind of when jobs are saved. And Bobby Hurley's job was saved last year by getting to the NCAA tournament. He knows how Tommy Lloyd plays the game. Sometimes coaches just know the matchups. You got to take the points here. Maybe a little sprinkle on the money line doesn't hurt, but take the points. It's going to be massive spread to cover.
I like where you're going with that. I'm going to be on the points. Love the dogs in the state rivalry games. I remember that game, too. I'm pretty sure it was like a buzzer beater, too. They hit a 3 at the buzzer. Okay, so Saturday night, UFC 298. Tonight they had the stare downs. Tonight, Volkanovski played into the old man bit a lot, and he really did, didn't he? He looked like a taxi driver or something. He had a jacket. He stepped off. He pretended to fall asleep during the press conference because Topuria keeps calling him old. He's like, "You're an old man. I'm going to retire you. You're done." And so he showed up, and he sort of limped in like an old man and stuff. So he played it up. What do you make of it? We had a guest on earlier that likes Volkanovski in this fight, and he said to me he's surprised about the number, and I just sort of reminded him that Topuria has been breaking people's souls along the way. What's your take on that fight?
I mean, I've been listening to a lot of UFC podcasts, and a lot of people seem to be on Volkanovski, but I took Topuria back in mid-December when he was plus 154. Topuria's my guy. I've been waiting to bet Topuria for like a year and a half in this position. And don't get me wrong, I believe Volkanovski is probably the GOAT of this weight class here. I believe Volk has defended his title enough. I thought his matchup that first time he went against Islam was very 50-50. But, man, 35 years old, the stats are very far against you when you're trying to defend the title. Now, Ilya, man, he proved he can do it all when he faced Bryce Mitchell, because Bryce Mitchell was a wrestler, and I even thought that maybe Bryce Mitchell has a shot. Ilya out-wrestled the wrestler. You know, he beat the crap out of him, literally, toyed with him. And that Josh Emmett fight, I give Josh Emmett a ton of props, but that man was broken. I could not believe that went to decision. That was all heart from Josh Emmett, but Ilya just manhandled him, and he's strong. He punches with power, and if you look at Volkanovski, he's compromised. You know, that shot that he took from Islam back in October showed that he was compromised. He's been knocked down before. I thought when he fought Max Holloway the second time, he lost that fight. He did get the split decision there. Ortega's knocked him down. I also think that this weight class has been weak since Jose Aldo got old. You know, I believe that the lightweight class.
Yeah, Carter came in and won and left it. Yeah. Well, it's not the same. It used to be beasts, right? What Gray Maynard and Frankie Edgar, and it was battles, man. And Jose Aldo comes in.
Yeah,
man,
I'm on.
Great stuff. Check out the Oddsbreakers. Check out Kiev Online. Awesome stuff, my man.
I'm sort of starting to figure out where these Canadian guys play well, bro. Not Hawaii, not California. Give me a Canadian in Ohio, Ken. Give me a Canadian in Michigan. Give me a Canadian at the Waste Management.
Good old Charlie Hoffman, the representative of Waste Management, played the best tournament of his life in the 8 years and lost in the playoff to the Canadian. It turned out to be like a wicked tournament. Shout out to Nick Taylor, gave BC's finest.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
It is a big I told you so if Mac Jones comes back and Mayo keeps him and the Patriots don't draft a quarterback at number 3. But the fan base is a big problem. I mean, you bring back
fan base will be fine if they win.
There's the if. There's the if. If they win, fan base won't care if you're quarterback in the Patriots if they win.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Caravan came back. They did have a couple of transfers here. The reality is UConn is every bit as talented and dangerous as they were 1 year ago.
If there's a guy, Joe Ranieri, that for one game can take a bunch of cast-offs and steal a game, his name's Eric Spoelstra.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Another reason why they wanted the deadline is the number is 7. Those are the tradable first-round picks the New York Knicks have. And that could be something to look out for in the future. Does New York back it up and throw a ton of picks to a team like Dallas? Maybe in the future, they get Luka Doncic.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
3-1 for the Vancouver Canucks right now. After 2 periods of play, the new in-game total in this hockey game is 6.5. The Canucks are now minus 1,600. They're laying 2.5 goals. We hit the first period over 1.5, but we had them parlayed with a San Jose Shark Calgary Flame game, and the San Jose Sharks have blown the parlay up, Cam. They're killing the Flames right now.
Gabe, I wanted to talk to you about this. Thank you for bringing this up. This is the end. This Calgary is now, this is a game, you lose to the Sharks in this fashion. They've already talked about Markstrom has had the best 2-week run of his life. He's going to be trade bait. There's a couple of teams that really need a goaltender, a.k.a. L.A. One of them, the Leafs, I don't know, they don't have the money. They'd obviously have to give up draft picks. But I'm going to tell you this, Gabe, and you know this as well. Calgary is now going to be a main seller. Big disappointment by the Flames. You can't lose to S.J. Sharkey in this fashion. My brother's a Flames fan. He lives in Calgary. He tells me they're going nuts. Like they've had enough of this team. They're brutal.
I was never a fan of this team all year long. I generally fade them all the time. Mm-hmm. The thing is, though, Cam, they actually had a nice run over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
they had a 4-game win streak going, and then they lost to the Rangers the other night in a close hockey game, and now they get back home. And it should be noted, San Jose. So like Calgary have actually been playing good hockey over the last couple of weeks. That's why I jumped in tonight. Normally, I'll fade these guys. And I'm like, I don't really believe in the Flames in a big picture. They're not good. But like I said, they've been on a nice little roll, right? But they lost to the Rangers. Now their first home game back. They fell into that trap. The Sharks played well last night, man, against the Winnipeg Jets. They were massive underdogs. They only lost 1-0. Now tonight they go back-to-back. An impressive win for the Sharks tonight.
But the problem is, Gabe, so these guys have played 53 games. They're down a point on the Kraken. They're 5 back of the Kings. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those situations, and you know how hard it is in hockey to make up points. Like, it's going to be a real grind for the Calgary Flames. They're going to have to go on a superheater, and I don't think that their management, if we were in the boardroom, I think we'd say, guys, can we really win with this team? And I think the answer is no.
No, but at the same point in time, they've sent a message. They've spent money, this team. Like, no, I don't think anyone's getting fired. I don't think there's any big fire sale coming up or anything like that with this team. They paid a lot of big money, man, to players, right, which they surprised people. They lost players, and then they replaced those guys by spending money after. They're trying to please their fan base to say, listen, we're not trying to lose. So I think they're going to try to battle for a playoff spot. Tonight was a disappointing loss for them, though. Losing to the Sharks, these are points that you're going to need to get. But I wouldn't completely write them off. I don't even like this team, but they've been playing good over the last, 2 weeks. Let's bring in big card Julio right now. Julio Rosario in the house. What's up, Julio?
What's happening, Gabe and Cam? Look, I've lost so much money betting the Calgary Flames over the last year and a half that they're on my list. I'm done with them. I'm betting more Calgary Wranglers hockey than I am Calgary Flames. Okay.
Yes. The Calgary Flames, they're like the Utah Jazz of the NHL or something. Don't put too much stock in them. You know what I mean? They're a middle tier, lower than mid tier sort of NHL franchise. That, like I said, though, they've spent money on players. They're underachievers, though. They are underachievers. They should be a little bit better. The thing is, there's pressure on them too, Cam, because they're in the same province as the Edmonton Oilers. So
I get it.
They're in the Oilers' shadow in a way where it's like, man, everyone's like, look, and the Oilers are their big rival. So it's like they have McDavid, they have Draisaitl. What the hell do we have? So, they need to sign these guys, and they do. Yep. Their goaltending has been shaky over the years. Markstrom's been good. Then he's sort of been, hot and cold. But they're just a mid-tier franchise. I don't know why you guys have higher hopes for them. They are who they are.
But listen to me for a sec, okay? Listen to me for a sec. Their top scorer is Nazem Kadri with 44 points in 53 games. They went out and got Jonathan Huberdeau, one of the best players in the league, and since he went from Florida to Calgary, he's got 31 points. Mackenzie Weegar, the defenseman, has more points than him. That's the problem, game. Blake Coleman, who's a grinder, has more points. The guys that they picked up aren't doing anything. That guy.
No, I know, but that's not the team's fault. I don't even like the Calgary Flame, like I said, but the ownership group has tried.
They have?
But they're kind of screwed, Cam. It's not like the best players in the NHL are lining up to move to Calgary as free agents.
No, I understand. It's just the funny thing is Florida had the best years with Huberdeau. He goes to Calgary. Now he's a slug. Like, it's kind of bad luck, I guess. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But Calgary shouldn't be leading your team in points. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I know, but whatever, man. How's Johnny Hockey doing there in Columbus? Took the man money and ran, and things didn't work out there. All that being stated, I'm just upset they lost tonight. I don't care.
Yeah, okay.
Like I said,
we turned this into the Calgary Flames radio TV roast with Julio. Yeah, don't worry. Flames talk, Julio. I'm with you. These guys, they pissed me off.
I don't know. I hate to say it. The Flames are just one of those franchises. They're never going to win. Like at least they won once. Or whatever. Did they win more? Did they win twice? They beat the Canadiens.
Got robbed against Tampa Bay with that Iginla goal taken away. They're still mad about it. Not a lucky
I guess they only won once, the Flames?
Yeah, with Lanny McDonald, Gary Roberts, that team.
While we're on the subject of hockey...
There was a riot that night in Montreal. It was in Montreal.
You're damn right. Of course there was.
1987. 1988. No, it was 1988.
I want to mention this Sunday, the Avalanche returned from a long road trip. They just got slapped in the face by the Lightning tonight. They play the Coyotes. The Coyotes play the Avalanche well. So I'd be hesitant if I were the general public, Joe Sixpack, if I would put the Avalanche in parlays come Sunday. So put that in your notebook, put it in your pipe, get ready to smoke it on Sunday. The Avalanche coming off a 2-week road trip.
I don't bet a ton of Avalanche games. I don't trust them. Like they're one of these teams that I don't fully trust, even though I know they're good. But
you're right, Gabe.
They're dangerous in the playoffs.
Yes, they are. But they also don't achieve as much as they should in the regular season. I'll agree with that point because they have the talent to win more than they do. But they just know what it is about hockey. We talk about it. You get into the playoffs, then you bring out the big guns, right? Some teams just kind of glide a bit, and that's Colorado.
Yeah, they're playing for the big picture. They don't live and die with regular season games, especially with the NHL playoff format too. It's not the end of the world if you don't win. Like in fact, sometimes winning your division puts you in a worse spot actually with these modern stupid playoff formats that we have. All right, so college basketball 3-1 for the Canucks right now. We're still at intermission. College basketball 62-58 for Northridge over Bakersfield. With 8.5 left. Washington State is up by 21 on Cal. This game is coming to an end. Hawaii absolutely smashing Cal Poly slow on the road, 76-47. Santa Clara is up right now, 74-51 on Pacific. That one's late. I'm looking for some in-game action here. Riverside is up by 2 with 2 minutes left against Fullerton. This is a close one here, guys. This is the one. Let's jump in. Just for the record, too, USC is up 34-26 on Utah. This total really dipped, but they're starting to score a little bit here. The total closed at 150. It's back up to 141.5. It's not on pace, but at least got a puncher's chance. But, hey, Julio, I don't know if you had any thoughts on the Wave tonight. Pepperdine, we're getting a boatload of points against St. Mary's. They're hanging around right now. They're only down by 4. It's 27-24 now, down by 3.
They're down 3 and still 15.5 point underdogs. They're still catching 15.5. So I'm willing to ride the wave here in the late night hours and see if Pepperdine can cover for you late. So plus 15.5 in game, I'm on it.
Thing is, St. Mary's have been murdering people this year. They're winning 76-38 and stuff sometimes, Cam. They're killing teams. So I don't know if they pull away tonight, but Pacific aren't great, but they're lingering. They're hanging around.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, Gabe, ever since St. Mary's had that horrible start and they had a big win weeks and weeks ago, I've been riding that team, and you said it. They're not just winning. They're kicking teams, and they beat Gonzaga already this year as a small dog. I like the St. Mary's Gales team. I think they're very impressive after a slow start.
The Pacific team, no, we're talking about a 10-16 team. They're not a good team. And they're not even good against the spread. They're 10-14 against the spread. But they're hanging around right now. They're getting, like I said, they're getting a ton of points. They were getting 18.5 before tip-off. So they're getting 15.5 right now. And as far as their current form is concerned, they have covered their last 2 games. but they lose every night, this team. So I'd be careful. I'm tempted, but I'm going to back off right now. I'm upset about the Flames screwing me over here. But what do you got for us, Julio, tonight? What are you looking at this weekend, tomorrow? What are your best bets, Julio?
Let's look at tennis. It's such a if you love tennis and you want to watch it on television, like if you're trying to find the Francis Tiafoe match, where I don't know where it is. Where is it? It's the Delray Beach tournament's going on. It's fantastic. But we're going to Doha tomorrow. Iga Swiatek against Karolina Pliskova, over 17.5, minus 138. This is the fifth meeting between the two women. It's gone over 17.5 in all but one. So over 17.5 games. And then Yannick Sinner, we're gonna go to Rotterdam, Netherlands, home of Prague rockers Iguana Death Cult. You'll thank me tomorrow when you look them up. Over 21.5. Yannick Sinner against
he's playing Milos Raonic, the Canadian. Kill him.
Over
dude.
21.5.
Sinner is going to take. You know what? Raonic can get some games, but Sinner's so damn good, man. That guy is he's becoming one of my favorite players, guys. He's amazing. He's minus 1,400, so can't even work with that.
This stuff comes up at 7 a.m. Eastern time. Actually, Julio, I've got all kinds of tennis. I get it. The 2024 ABN AMRO Open Tennis, 4 a.m. my time. And, Yannick Sinner, 12-1 against Milos Raonic. Are you betting
I got
any
another
of the
one,
NBA
Gabe.
All-Star stuff? What's that, Cam?
Just real quick, there's a crazy match after. It's Griekspoor versus Ruusuvuori. I like Griekspoor. I've actually been following this guy. He's on a little bit of a heater, minus 150 against the Finn. That's the second match in Rotterdam.
All right, hardcore stuff here. A little Rotterdam action.
Yes.
Iguana Death Cult. Julio's dropping
Iguana Death
indie
Cult.
rock
Yeah,
bands.
you guys will love them. They're from Rotterdam. They're very good. Look, I'm not betting the. I hear it's beautiful. I'm not betting the NBA, Gabe or Cam, this weekend. I'm more excited for European soccer or PWHL hockey than I am the NBA All-Star game.
Amazing.
I didn't even know if it was this. I didn't even know it was this weekend. Speaking of PWHL, I can't bet the action for you guys. Under 5.5 goals, 21-6, 77%. Over 4.5 goals, 17-10, 62.9%. We'll round it to 63 if you like to do that. So I can't bet this action for you. Bet PWHL. Let's go to soccer. Soccer quickly. Liverpool halftime, full-time Saturday against Brentford, plus 150.
Nice.
All right, Julio. We'll wrap things up with Julio on the other side. As speaking of the World Cup, man, a lot of stuff coming up here. We got the CONCACAF Champions League soccer starting. MLS preseason has begun. The MLS season is set to start. This is SportsRage. Bring it.
I'm sort of starting to figure out where these Canadian guys play well, bro. Not Hawaii, not California. Give me a Canadian in Ohio, Cam. Give me a Canadian in Michigan. Give me a Canadian at the Waste Management.
Good old Charlie Hoffman, the representative of Waste Management, played the best tournament of his life in 8 years and lost in the playoff to the Canadian. It turned out to be like a wicked tournament. Shout out to Nick Taylor, Gabe, BC's finest.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
It is a big I told you so if Mac Jones comes back and Mayo keeps him and the Patriots don't draft a quarterback at number 3. But the fan base is a big problem. I mean, you bring back
fan base will be fine if they win.
There's the if. There's the if. If they win, fan base won't care if you're quarterback in the Patriots if they win.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Caravan came back. They did have a couple of transfers here. The reality is UConn is every bit as talented and dangerous as they were 1 year ago.
If there's a guy, Joe Ranieri, that for one game can take a bunch of cast-offs and steal a game, his name's Eric Spoelstra.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another reason why they wanted the deadline is the number is 7. Those are the tradable first-round picks the New York Knicks have. And that could be something to look out for in the future. Does New York back it up and throw a ton of picks to a team like Dallas? Maybe in the future, they get Luka Doncic.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
This sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. I just took the Detroit Red Wings and Vancouver Canucks under 6.5. So the third period just started, and as soon as I took it, the Vancouver Canucks committed a penalty, and the Red Wings are on the power play and nearly scored like 3 times in the last 10 seconds. Oh my God, they nearly just scored again.
Don't you hate that? You release the button. No, the wheel goes through. But when I need it, I
took it right as the period started. They got a penalty right away as the period started. Like after I took it, like right away.
It happens a lot.
And they're getting ambushed on this power play. Like Detroit are all over them. Oh my God, again.
Detroit's pesky.
Demko is really good, but man, they should have scored there. They didn't. All right, Cam's got a 3 ball.
You
for
guys.
us. Oh my!
You like 3
God,
balls? Everybody loves 3 balls. Let's go. Golf. 3 balls. Zalatoris plus 100 versus Matt Kuchar and Sam Ryder. Gabe, I talked about Willie Z.
So he's going to beat Sam Ryder and Kuchar.
Matt Kuchar. Yeah, I like Zalatoris. Played great today. He shot 5 under. It looks like he's getting back from the injury. You talked about it, marriage injury. It took him about 5 or 6 weeks after taking the year off, Gabe. He looks like a different golfer right now. It looks like his confidence is back. I think that's a very good price.
All right, I'll get in on that. Oh, man, Vancouver just got away with another trip. They're lucky. They would have just gotten called for like a penalty, but they were already like killing a penalty. I would have called that. I'm on the Canucks. Like I would have called that. Like personally, I would have been like, yeah, you just tripped him again, buddy. Like the guy in the Canucks just tripped him again. It's like, dude, like we just stopped killing the penalty. Don't trip him. They got away with one there, but the Canucks have killed off the penalty. All right, what else do you got for us, Julio? Any other best bets for us?
Erling Haaland to be the first goal scorer for Man City on Saturday against Chelsea. And then I'm going to go the Milwaukee Brewers under 75.5 season win total. They're going to be terrible this year.
Brewers always go over the number. This might be the year that they fade. Wow, 75.5. Man, that's low. Great stuff, Julio. Thanks, Cam.
Later, guys.